Thank you, George. Hello to all my friends at AviaDev, all my colleagues, ex-colleagues, and the likes. Welcome to the new world. It's a new world that, frankly, we really didn't want to live in. But there where we are, and we need to adapt ourselves. And now, it's a mammoth task to try to focus and tell you guys, professionals of the airports, what you should do and give you 3 simple actions. Let's consider these 15 minutes as a way to recap the things we are already doing. But let me present you first to give you the context with this new world. Well, what will happen? Very likely, there will be fewer, larger airlines remaining on the market. Someone might come on the market in this moment. You might see this as a moment of level playing field and try to venture, but believe me, in 2020 and 21, there will be much less airlines than there used to be. Now, second step, these airlines will be certainly much more aggressive than they were used to be before on costs. This means also airport costs. You will see a lot of airlines asking you to renegotiate any existing or potential growth deal. To a certain extent, depending on your deal, they will try to negotiate certainly non-regulated fees, but also to a certain extent regulated fees. So not an easy life. Third bad news, the recovery curve is not going to be a V-shape. V-shape is that fast drop and fast recovery. The traffic will be recovered according to a long and painful line, unfortunately. Retail, let's not forget the role of retailers. They've been affected badly as everybody else in the industry. They will want to renegotiate costs at airports. Someone might even go bankrupt or close down. So again, not a pleasant picture, but here we are. So what do we do as airports? And this session, this audience is mainly about the regional airports. So let's try to focus on your role, guys, on your dimension, size. Try to assess where you are in this moment. Essentially, never like now, you are a portal. You're a portal to your territory, to your city, to your region, to your country. So you need to play more than ever as a team. Do you have a non-executive board? Well, do not hesitate. Invite in the tourist board representatives. You're not famous for tourism in your region or in your airport. Well, you're probably stronger on the business side. That's the moment to call in the support of all the big companies on the territory, the companies that move the economy. You might want to have in your non-executive board or simply in the periodic meetings, Chamber of Commerce's, Industrial Association, and so forth. So again, play as a team. More than ever, you are not a closed box. You need to propose to the airlines and to stimulate demands a territory which is a team. And that was the first one. Second one, let's talk about financials. I would say that based on the various reports on the industry, we can expect that in 2020, we're going to see revenues being, as an average, 50 to 60% lower than they should have been in 2020. First, pressure on OPEX. Secondly, on all the fixed costs, we see a lot of people furloughed, a lot of redundancy programs. What can you do? Well, reassess and prioritize CapEx, number one. Now, I don't think that if your CapEx plan is mainly on airport infrastructure serving airlines, well, I don't think airlines will be too bothered if for a couple of years you slow down on those investments. And frankly, I might even see airlines being very happy to see the airport fees being flat for the next 2 to 3 years or even going down. Which brings me to the second part of the second point. Lobby with governments. The APD taxes, council tax in Italy, RAP in France, well, they won't help at all to actually re-stimulate demand. And guys, you are part of the equation. So yes, airlines are lobbying for that, but you need to be part of the same team, I believe. Third point, I think it's time to build, like in football, and national airport teams. Let's stop and think for a second on what Germany has done. On the 1st of August, the European Commission of the European Union has basically agreed or given green light to a massive set of state aid funding from the German state to a number of regional and middle and I would say even big size regional airports. It's clear, and the mechanism to justify this support is simply refund for the loss of revenues. Well, I think this should be an example to be followed in all the countries. I have seen in these recent weeks from various government and various states, all the airport associations standing up and try to demand, as per the airlines, state support. There's nothing wrong about it. Airports support local mobility, particularly regional airports. So I believe that never as before, your stance will be heard. There will be a lot of ears open to actually hear your stance. For this, you need a strong airport lobby, airport level. You need a government ready to listen to you and make all the necessary pressures on the European Union. So essentially, I wanted to be extremely concise. These are just three very wide and big subjects. I'm very happy to take questions, and I left this session purposely very short. I'd be interested to also hear from you guys, the expert airlines and airports, what you think and what are your most pressing issues.
Yeah, thanks a lot for this, Enzo. So we see there is really interesting discussions going on already in the chat section. So feel free, now we have some time, so feel free to ask Enzo a question. Let me start, Enzo. So following on what Dirk was talking about testing, I believe that now from this aspect, regional airports, the smaller airports, have a bit are in the advantage comparing to Frankfurt, for example. So we heard they are now doing 10 or 15,000 tests, or they are able to do 10 to 15,000 tests per day. But for small regional airports, they maybe have like 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 departing passengers per day. So also they don't need to invest so much in the infrastructure, the testing infrastructure, let's say. So again, smaller can be better in this way. What is your take on that?
Sure, this is true. More passengers can be processed in terms of testing at those airports because, by the size itself of the airports, you are facilitated in trying to build processes which will support the testing on the maximum number of passengers. By the same token, you need to invest. And again, let's not forget intrinsic weakness, financially and liquidity-wise, of the small regional airports. Any small investments today comes at a premium. Obviously, this is the most important investment, and there's no way around it. Actually, let's think for a moment. Passengers and airlines will also become to a point to discriminate their choice of airport depending on the quality of testing and health and safety infrastructures. So that's number one priority. Cost is an issue.